welcome back to my channel. Good morning, vlogsters. Today's coffee is brought to you by Italian sweet cream with a half a dose of Miralax in it, because with it the other day, I took it out because too much was coming and now not enough is coming. So let's half it and see if that helps. So cheers. I did tell you that the commode, Jim brought the commode in, but I had my aide move the commode in front of the closet so I could still walk to it. I still, and it's also out of my way. So that was the problem, having the commode here, which is great for those accidental emergencies. I probably won't be able to spend any time on the couch because it's way too much effort to get off the couch and walk into the bathroom. But you could sit at the kitchen table because that's just as close to the bathroom as I am. But here I am, I'm close to the commode. So I told her, I said, I really never had any problems from here to there. It was just from there to there. So let's try putting it there. And this way I don't have to rely on it. If I don't feel the urge, if I just feel like I have to go regular tinkle or regular number 2, I can go on my own. Because I'll tell you, I did not, I've had so many issues with myself over the last 48 hours. Now listen, I love you guys, and you're going to tell me, don't worry about it, it's normal, it's okay, just pace yourself, relax. I appreciate that. I'm always my own worst critic. I'm always hardest on myself. I had like a breakdown because this is like a step back, and I kept crying about it, and I was like, no. And he's like, no, you're just sick. And I was like, I don't want to hear that I'm sick. So the truth is, I started to think about it. I was like, yeah, I have stage 4 cancer. But I don't want to be sick. I don't like that. I don't like thinking, you know, that it's incurable. Like when my oncologist says that, and he says it to give me that reality check that patients need, but the truth is, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that I'm not going to have no evidence of disease in a year or 4 more treatments or whatever it is. I don't want to hear that. And I love him. He's the sweetest and he's the best. And I don't want to hear that anymore. You know, like, I want to not be sick. I want to not have back wounds. I want to not have cancer. I want to not have pain. At least the pain is manageable. I'm not doing any like hardcore pain medication unless I might take one before I go to like a double doctor's appointment or whatever. Like when I went to the city last week, I actually didn't take one beforehand, which I normally do. I took one with me in case I needed it when I was done. And I did end up needing it when I was done. So that's good that I had it. But my pain medication I'm taking is Tylenol 3, which is Tylenol codeine. I don't take it that often because it does cause digestive issues. Most pain medication does affect. They're very constipating because basically they're calming down like all of your muscle thingies and nervies. So, yeah. So I got up this morning. I was going to take a shower today because I like to do it on Tuesday and change the bed. However, we had an emergency laundry session and I can't wash clothes and take a shower on the same time. So I might take one later by myself. And I don't mean by myself. Jim has to be there to take my my bandages off, wash my back, and put the bandages back on. But I may take one without my aide in a little while. So I don't know. I don't know. I definitely feel like I need one. You know, I want one. I want one today. It's this terrible weather. It's like 41 degrees in the morning and then it's like 80 degrees in the afternoon, which is great. But then you're like, am I hot? Am I cold? Do I have to eat on there? Open the door, open that. It's just, So anyhow, that's the complaint for today. So anyway, I did sit up here. I folded the rest of the laundry. Basically, I realize now, as I'm saying that there's laundry on the couch that I have to fold. Actually, I take that back. That's the linens for the bed. That's what that is. I thought that was stuff I had to fold. So I just saw it and I was like, oh no. But that's the mattress pad and the sheets for tomorrow. That was supposed to be for today. Anyway, so I sat here. I'm drinking coffee. Again, it's got a little Miralax in it just in case. I don't want to be back in the situation that I was, and I also don't want to be reversed in the opposite direction. So what do? I was coming on today, obviously just to say hi and all that stuff that I normally do, but I wanted to tell you the story that got cut off yesterday. So yesterday I was talking about home improvement and how much I loved home improvement even since I was little. When I started, the story that got cut off was, I told you the story how I crawled in the basement and insulated the pipes with my brother. But where it got cut off was when I was 10, we repaneled my dining room. That's where I learned about measuring and like cutting on the wrong side of paneling. What that means is, like, when you cut paneling, you don't cut it from the good side, and then, you know, when you measure, you have to measure like in reverse. So if the edge of the paneling is here and the outlet is here, you have to measure from this side of the back of the paneling to the outlet. Does that make sense? So when you flip it, it's in the right position. I learned that. I learned coping. I learned how to cove molding, crown molding. There's a certain kind of crown molding that's called cove molding. It almost makes it it just looks like a little round. It's not quite a fancy crown molding, but I learned how to cope it with a coping soil, but really like I feel like it's called something besides a coping soil, but that's what I know it as. But basically how you cut it on an angle and then you cut this part off and it fits on top. I know they have all these fancy tools to cut shapes now, but this is old school how to do it. So I learned that. I learned how to put baseboard in. I learned how to measure. I learned how to if you have, you know, baseboard only comes in 8 feet and you have 10 feet to go, how do you miter the meat part? Like all of that stuff. I learned that when I was 10, working with my dad to repanel my dining room. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't really remember what the paneling looked like when I was 8 and 7 and 6. I think it was the same. I think it was brown, and I think it was unfinished. Like, my parents got the paneling we hung that was there till the day the house fell down. And I will look to see if I have pictures to show you. Was kind of like a shiny finish, like it was finished with poly almost. And it was obviously factory paneling. It was regular paneling, crap, 70s paneling. But I think the paneling that was before that was unfinished. It had only really been hung for 15 years is a long time. And when I was 10, the house was 15 years old. So, but it wasn't originally to the house. The house didn't have paneling. I don't know if my parents hung it when they moved in or hung it after they bought the house. Because as I mentioned, they had a lot of kids. And we were dinging and denting all the walls. So put up paneling. You know, like that was the answer. My plan was, when I was redoing the whole place, was to pull all the paneling down and patch all the walls. Like that was my desire to do that. And then of course the flood had other plans. God had other plans for me, so. But listen, if God didn't flood my house and kick me out of New York, I wouldn't be here with you right now. I'm 100% sure about that. Because if I didn't have to leave in such an emergent situation, I would have had a job secured before I came here. One that I could do that wasn't going to cost me $1 million. Anyhow, so home improvement. And then when I was 15, again, I think I was 15 when I went in the crawl space. I was starting to think about it last night. I might have been 13 or 14 because it was before I did the wallpaper. But when I was 15, there was a little hardware store, not little, it was a chain hardware store there on Long Island called Pergament. And when I was 15, I was needed to decorate my house. Like I needed to redo stuff. So in the front hallway, which again, I'll see if I have pictures of this green plastic stuff that my parents hung with staples. Don't know why, again. It was this hard green plastic. Maybe it was vinyl at the time. Maybe it was like a thin linoleum that went on the walls. I really have no clue. But it was horrid, and it was peeling, and it was falling, and all this stuff. Chipping, breaking. So I decided when I was 15, I wanted to do something. I was watching all these home improvement shows, and I could totally hang wallpaper. So I went to Pergament. I bought, my mother's favorite color was light blue. She wanted things to have light blue accents. We had these really heavy-duty curtains. We had a curtain rod, like a transom rod, basically. No. Is that right? I think that's right. basically the one that you pull the string and the curtains open. We had that already hung. So we had drapes on there, and the drape hooks were missing, and the drapes were falling down, and they were all smoke-ridden and everything. So I went to Pergament, and I found wallpaper, and I went to TSS, and I found curtains. I found blue curtains that had backing on them, and I found them all in clearance. And I was like, oh, these will work together. You know, this will work. So I got a step stool box that I stood on, and I took off the green stuff, and primed and hung wallpaper in my hallway. Wallpaper that was there until the house, I mean, basically it was probably there till, because they didn't peel that off. They don't peel wallpaper, they just pull the sheetrock off. So that wallpaper was there until the house, till I left, basically. The hallway had 2 pony walls, and I wallpapered on the inside of the pony walls. Like, I basically did the whole thing right. And then years later, I redid the floor, and that's a whole other story altogether, because those tiles my parents had, my father was like, those are never coming up, those were glued down, da-da-da-da-da. I said, okay. And then when I went to go take them out after he died, good Lord Jesus, they came up like nothing. Like, really, I didn't even need the heat gun. Just saying. Sorry, I'm getting a reminder about my doctor's appointment tomorrow. Forgive me. So, yeah. I bought the curtains, and we hung the curtains. I bought new curtain hooks. I was 15. I babysat. This is what I did with my money. What did you do with your money when you were 15? Like, did you go out with your friends, buy yourself snacks? I bought curtains and wallpaper for my house. This was the desire that I had ever since I was young. When I turned 19 or 18, it was before I was 19, I was 18, and I was babysitting for my cousin. This is when JCPenney catalogs were like a thing, right? And I was babysitting for my cousin, and after the kids were bed, I would flip through the JCPenney's catalog like nobody's business. And when I was almost 19, I finally got my own room, got the room to myself, May of 89, so I was almost 19. And excuse me one second, you haven't, just stick it on top for now, if that's okay. No, off the laundry basket. Stick it on top of the laundry basket. Yes, please bring my walker back out. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes,
oh, hold on one second, guys. Sorry about that. And this is a little bit of a different setup here because, oh, look how bright this iPad is. Wow. Okay. I should just film on Jimmy's iPad all the time. It's like I can see what I'm doing. Jim just came in to let me know that my video that I posted for yesterday was the wrong one. It was a repeat. So we are currently, let me open that to show you where we're at, and it's taking forever. So I apologize. I'm sorry about that. And I am trying to upload the correct video. So basically, when you film from your phone, you go to iMovie, and then you upload you take the raw footage, you edit it in iMovie, then you download it to your phone, and then you upload it to YouTube, and then you have to upload it to the internet. Basically, you take the picture, take the video, you take it to iPhone, to YouTube, and then you have to upload it from there. Well, if you tell it to hold 2 videos, it takes up twice as much memory because now you have it in your photos and on YouTube. So I always take yesterday's off as I put up today's. I select yesterday's, I put up today's. Well, apparently, I don't know what I did wrong, but I uploaded the previous video. Anyhow, I apologize. And so now I'm filming on Jim's iPad because I want to finish the story because I've got lots to do today. I'm very productive today. So I was talking about how I was flipping through JCPenney's catalog at my cousin's house. And I would babysit for my 2 cousins. They were both waitresses at 2 different restaurants. One was like Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and the other one was like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Or Friday, actually it was Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So I'd always have Monday off, or one day off. And what I was doing, flipping through the catalog, I asked her one day if she could buy me wallpaper that I fell in love with. And I kept seeing it and pricing it and figuring out how I could afford it. If she bought it for me, for my room, then I would pay it off like as I babysat. And she was like, no problem. So the wallpaper that I had previously in my bedroom at 481, the pink flowers border paper, that was from JCPenney catalog. That was, I purchased myself. It had a repeat. That was the first time no, the other wallpaper had a repeat. What was different? Oh, this is the first time I used the border paper in conjunction. So I've used border papers alone before, and I've used wallpaper alone before, but this is the first time I used both. And then I also bought a border paper from my brother's room with some Super Mario Brothers sheets. So my brother, we had a yellow captain's bed from my uncle, and my brother was big into video games, and I'd given him the yellow captain's bed. Excuse me. Hello? Hello? Yes, it is. Hi. Yep, see you then. No problem, sweetheart. Bye-bye. Sorry, my doctor's office. I just want to make sure. Anyhow. So he had like a yellow captain's bed. My father's big, like, you know, the company, oh, what's the name of it? Hone. It's like, they make like file cabinets and stuff. I know I'm butchering it, and I can't remember right now what it is. But he had this giant, like, almost like Foot Locker from like, the army, almost like somebody's old Foot Locker. It had half hanging bars and half shelves. He had this metal thing, and that's where he put his tools. He put all his like extra tools in there and stuff. And he always kept it in my brother's room, whichever brother, the boys' room. So the boys' room was originally my big brother's, and then it ended up being my little brother's when my big brother moved out. Now my little brother slept in the living room till he was 7. I slept in the living room from the time I was like 4 till the time I was 18. But he was basically, his crib was in the dining room, which wasn't a big deal. My nan slept there. I slept there. My mom, like, she kept him in the bassinet when he was first born. But then as he got older, you know, then I would be there. We'd talk to each other and that kind of stuff. So anyhow, I wanted to do his room nice. So I painted it all sky blue. I got this border paper. I painted Super Mario Brothers. And then my cousin came over. We put handprints in the primary colors on like the windows, and I painted his windowsill blue. I mean, this was before I redid the guest room. So it was just a lot of fun. It really was like a lot of fun. And I painted the cabinet to look like a brick, like with orange bricks on it. So it almost looked like one of those Mario houses. I was ahead of my time, people. I was ahead of my time. No, I really wasn't. What I was ahead of my time doing it on a budget. That's what I was. Anyhow, I also got the border paper, the Super Mario border paper, and linens from JCPenney's. My mother was still alive at the time, but just this is something I wanted to do. I moved my parents' room. So when we were growing up, the girls' room was always the bigger of the two rooms. Now, I say bigger. One's 12 by 12, one's 11 by 14. So they are relatively close and same, but the shape made the 11 by 14 room seem much smaller. You put a queen size bed in there, and it was really difficult for like my dad to walk by and stuff. So when I was going to take over a room, I was like, well, let me swap these rooms. There's no reason my parents still have to have the big room. I mean, the small room. And, you know, we can give them a spacious space. So the hardest part was moving my dad's safe. We couldn't move his dresser with the safe on it because it was so heavy. My father had made this steel safe. Like, he was a machinist, and he built this thing to withstand, like, you know, it would kill somebody if it got picked up in a tornado, but it probably would so heavy it wouldn't get picked up in a tornado, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so my cousin and I dropped it on the dresser with wheels, and we wheeled it into the next room and put it back up together. It was very hard. We wanted to surprise my dad, because listen, I could have done it when my dad was home, and I could have had him take everything out, all the contents out for like 5 minutes, and then move it, and then whatever. But I wanted to surprise him. So when he came up from work that day, his room was swapped, and everything was clean and brand new. Also, the other thing was, I know you've probably seen pictures of all of the graffiti. Like when we had the 12 by 12 room, my sister got like these paints from helping the art teacher clean out her supplies. And she got all these like random paints that were like extra. It was like purple and red and silver. So weird. So we used them and markers and stuff, and our friends would come over, and it looked like a subway. It was kind of cool. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. It's busy, crazy looking at it now, but at the time it was fun. It was like, come over, sign the wall. You have to come in and sign the wall. So, so that's what was for a long time. And then my mom wanted to put up to cover it. My sister got like, she was getting mature, and my mother put up this light blue paneling that had tulips on it. She'd gotten it on sale at Pergamon. And they didn't put anything else. They didn't put any like crown molding, baseboard molding, nothing. They just put this paneling up. So then when it was time, like for us to, like, my sister moved out, and she was, she went to college, and she was pretty much leaving at college all year. I went to go take the rooms over, and I was like, let's swap it. And it was me and my cousin, who eventually moved out too. And we swapped the bedrooms, because my mother's favorite color, like I mentioned before, was light blue. And I knew she would have loved this light blue room, excuse me. So I got her like cute little curtains, and that had mini blinds on it. I got some new mini blinds from Pergamon. I became the mini blind installer for the family, because I was the first person in all of our family to read the directions and how to like customize the length of blinds. It's really quite a simple process, but people just don't want to undertake it, I guess, because fear that something might go wrong. But it's really quite simple. I don't know if people use like vertical blinds anymore or horizontal blinds anymore. I'd love to be able to like share that with you if I ever got a set. I don't know where I would put them, but I would love to be able to show you how to shorten them, because it's really an easy process. Again, it's just one of those things that seems overwhelming. So then as years went on, I was like, can you come over? I got these new blinds and you want them shortened. So I was like, that's fine. Yeah, no problem. My cousins would buy me lunch, or when I did my cousin Colleen's, I saw this beautiful Americana quilt that she had hanging up, because it was around the 4th of July-ish, and she had it hanging up in the den, and that's where I was shortening the blinds. And I said, oh my God, that quilt is beautiful. Where'd you get it? She said, I got it at Kohl's. And then she finished the blinds, and when I was finished, she had apparently bought 2, and she just gave me the other one, and that's why I have it. And it's beautiful. I love quilts, but it's also very sentimental to me. She also gave me a pair of earrings one time. She's so sweet. I miss Colleen. Colleen, I miss you. If you ever watch this video. One day I was like, those are the cutest earrings. And she was like, here. Like, she wasn't sure about them for herself, so she just gave me the earrings right off her ears. And I was like, no. She's like, no, I just really wasn't sure about them anyway, and you really like them. So I was like, oh my God. They're these cute little, like, fake bead chandelier earrings, like costume jewelry, but they were so cute. I think I still have them too. Maybe. They might have broken. I don't remember. This was a long time ago. Anyhow, so then that happened. I became so I had put up the blinds in my parents' room so that they had blinds, and I customized them, and I gave my mom a little like valance, like a little curtain valance, this little blue country thing. My mom was really into that. I was really into the country thing, but my mom was, she kind of like everything was blue then, the country, the country ducks, the country geese, those things. That country blue was really a good blue for her too. She just, all blues really were her thing. Anyhow, which is funny because my mother-in-law's favorite color is blue too. Not red. I think it's unusual. My parents lived in the big room for a long time. My mom got these milk crates from her sister or something, and she put them like, the bed was centered on the wall, and the nightstands were centered next to the beds, and then my mom had a space between her nightstand and the closet, and my father had a space between his nightstand and the closet. And my father put some gear there, like, the gear stuff that he would keep in the room. And my mom put these milk crates. Now, when I switched rooms, she had a built-in shelf system that my father had built where she had linens, because we only had one closet in the house. There was a coat closet in the front, and then there was like a pantry linen closet. A lot of people use it as a linen closet. In my life, always growing up, we used it as a pantry, because we had a lot of people to feed, and you know, you can't, there was no extra cabinets. So she had really never had any linen storage. So she had my father built that built-ins in the small room when that was their room, and that's where we would keep linens. So then when we moved to the other room, I was like, listen, you don't have to keep all the linens. I was like, just keep the ones that you use and whatever. I'll keep the family linen still in my room. I don't really care. But she was like, no, she's like, it's okay, I have an idea. So my mom was very crafty like that, I told you guys. She took milk crates and she stood them on their end, and she didn't zip tie them together, because back then milk crates actually had connecting, I mean, they kind of still do too. Like one half of the milk crate had a post and the other one had like a thing so that they fit together. And then the very, very top one, she actually set back, didn't clip it, but it held all of them to the wall, because just, you know, physics. And she put all the linens in there, and that was what she had the space between her closet and the nightstand. So then after my father passed, it was like, I mean, after my mother passed, it was a whole different thing. My father just wanted what he wanted, and we fixed it, and he never wanted my mother's dresser to leave, so it was there until the day of the flood. And he used it for extra storage and for like winter clothes. He would swap his winter clothes and summer clothes out there. And he lived for, wow, now that I think about it, he lived for like 19 years before he passed away without my mom. So the whole decorating thing has really been in my DNA since I can remember, since birth, I want to say. When I was in school, they were always like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be a mother, and I want to be a housewife and a mother. And then they were like, no, career-wise. And I was like, well, nurse, teacher, interior designer, nurse, teacher, interior designer, nurse, teacher, interior designer. Like, literally, that's what my brain was doing. And it was flip-flopping between all the things. And I was like, isn't there a job to be like a jack of all trades? Can you not just be a jack of all trades? So that's really what I ended up doing. I became a nursery school teacher, and then I went to go work at AHSC, where I was both teaching and sort of nursing. Doing that same sort of, I wasn't nursing, I'm not trying to take anything away from nurses, but, you know, I was working under a nurse's license to do the medications and wound care and all that stuff, because that's, you know, the care part of the nursing, not the school part or the running around your feet all day part. Not the clinicals, just it went straight into taking care of people. And also when we opened the new group home, and even when we opened the new day hab, being interior decorator just came along with it, you know. Anyway, so this is a very, very long vlog. I am sorry for the odd editing situation, whatever it's going to look like when I'm done. And yeah, I want to thank you all for joining me. I love you very, very much. Please don't ever forget, no matter what happens, no matter where I'm at, I love you very much. And if nobody's told you today that you're loved, you can always come by and hear how much I love you, because goodness gracious knows I love you very much. And as always, you guys, take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye! This is going to have to be two-handed because I can't cover and turn the button off.